Good, good morning, everybody. It's time for Midweek Motivation Live. This is Patrick Lee, your host. We will be back right after this. Good morning, everybody. This is Patrick Lee, your host for Midweek Motivation Live. I hope everyone is doing all right today. It's the first Wednesday in August 2022. We're going to talk a little bit today about attitude. The nice guys always finish last. I hope you're doing good. Hope you guys think I'm a nice guy. I'm going to continue to be me, and I believe I believe that I'm a nice guy. Let me adjust the camera here just a little bit, and my camera wasn't sitting properly in the stand. I thought hopefully it doesn't fall off. I think we're good now. No technical difficulties today. It's all good. Actually, one of my pieces of gear for my other camera failed this morning. It looks like I'm going to have to replace that and using the camera on the laptop here, and it's a good camera. I just prefer the other one a little bit. It's a little bit more clear, but this one's good. It's all good. I hope y'all don't mind. And it is what it is, right? But the topic of today's show: do nice guys always finish last? And when I say guys, I mean guys and gals. People. You know, is do nice people always finish last? How many of you know some just nice people? A lot of us think about our grandparents a lot of times. Maybe it's our grandpa, it was our preacher, it was someone in our neighborhood, maybe our favorite uncle, and they were just a nice person. You loved going to Mima's house, right? Because they were nice. They loved on you. They always believed the best in you. And then once you get a little bit older, you start getting into the business world, and you start realizing that other people are training you to believe that the only way to get ahead is to be a jerk. And they'll tell you, and they told me this years ago because I was the guy as a teenager. I was very shy. I've shared with you in the past. I was very shy and timid when I was young. I played Little League Baseball with my older brother, Rick, who also taught me how to fish. And dad taught me some of that. My dad was always known as a nice guy, very calm and mild mannered. People have told me for years I'm my dad's younger twin. And I get that. And I was taught as a very young guy, just to be nice. And it ended up, it got me some girlfriends, it got me some friendships, but I even started learning at a young age that the pretty girls preferred a guy that didn't treat them as nice. And that was always puzzling to me because I was raised that, if you treat people nice, right, there's this law of reciprocity. And I didn't know that's what it was, but I did know at a young age, what you sow, that you will reap. And if you want to, the golden rule was, treat others the way you want to be treated. And so I started growing up believing that and acting that way. And then I started finding out from other people that the guys that didn't treat girls as nice, they were the ones that ended up getting the girls. The guys that knew, that were shrewd at negotiating, whether it was for candy, a skateboard, a bicycle, whatever it was when we were younger, the people that were jerks or threw their weight around seemed to get more in life and have more of more things, more relationships. They ended up, with the nicer bike, then the nicer vehicle, and then further on, later on in life, a lot of those people ended up with some pretty good jobs, nice vehicles, nice careers. And I don't mean nice. I mean, financially, in the world's eyes, possibly higher up than the nice guy. And you start hearing these things. Hey, man, nice guys finish last. And that's the topic today. Because it's been, it's one of the things that's been a recurring theme in my life with other people, that I'm told I'm a nice guy. And I like that. I love that. I believe I'm a nice guy. I believe that many of you are nice people. But the thing that I absolutely unequivocally do not believe is that nice people always finish last. And that's the topic we're talking about today. There is a way for nice people to get ahead. There is a way for jerks to get ahead. We're just going to call them jerks today. How's that? Uh, People that are unkind, people that are not nice. We're just going to call them jerks because that's kind of what they are. They treat people like a jerk. They make a jerk out of themselves, and that's one of the types of people that I have set in my mind and my heart to not be. The Bible talks about the kinds of things that God hates in the book of Proverbs. And he says, and I'll probably blow this quote. I know a lot of Bible and I know a lot of quotes from other books too, but the Bible ones are the best. But in Proverbs, I think it's 6:12 or 21:6 or 6:21. It says these six things doth the Lord hate, yea, seven. And in those seven things, he talks about people whose feet are quick running to do mischief, people that bear false witness about their brother, people that can't control their mouth. They're always gossiping, and people that are mistreating others, taking advantage of others. The things that God hates more over than the things that we think the world or the church world, excuse me, the church world would call sin, the failures, the faults, the shortcomings that people have in their life. When it comes to those things, the things that really anger the Lord, who is our ultimate goal is to please Him, not each other, right? The things that He absolutely abhors, aside from sexual sin, are gossipers, people that are mischievous, people that are liars, people that bear false witness or tell things about their brother or taking advantage of other people. And those are the things that the Bible says God hates. So I definitely don't want to be categorized as a person that God hates. How many of you know that if you're one of those people that, it might be hard for you to get ahead in life, and to judge yourself that if you are getting ahead in life by using those methods, are you getting ahead in life from the blessing of God or the short-lived successes that come from following the pattern of the world? I told myself I wasn't going to preach today, and that was not on my heart to start preaching. But it is to talk about kindness. Kindness is one of the fruits of the Spirit. There are a lot of them: patience, long suffering, joy, peace. But I believe that the act of being kind, showing kindness to other people, flows right in along with those fruits of the Spirit. It lets us know to some degree that that person may be acting in a spirit that is something that would be pleasing to the Lord. And when you're pleasing to the Lord, it makes it a lot easier to be pleasing to other people that are like-minded in business, in relationships, in your family, and especially if you're an independent business owner. There are many people that do get ahead in life by being a jerk. They just do. I'm just going to stay on that word. They're just jerks. And how many of you know some jerks in your life? We all do. We all know some jerks. We all deal with jerks. We have relationships even with jerks, and we learn to base that relationship on the attitude of the person that we have the relationship with. And the people that are kind, and let's talk about that. The people that are kind seem to have a better place of stature in your relationships. We talk a lot about your top five, right? The top five people in your life you're going to be a combination of somewhere in the mix of them. So you are who you hang with. So when we're talking about these kind of relationships, and we have relationships with someone who is unkind, who may be mischievous, who may gossip about their brother or their sister, their fellow man, how high do those people rank when it comes to to talking about your most influential people in your life. If someone that you have relationship is always a jerk, are they in your top 5? Are they in your top 5? And if they are they number 1 or are they number 5? Where do they fit in there? The people that are less than desirable, where do they fit in your life? Because if we are a combination of the 5 closest people that influence our lives, how much of the jerk quotient, the jerk factor, are we going to allow to become part of us and take place of or reduce the level of kindness in our life? So many of you may say, hey, I'm kind of a jerk and all the people in my top 5 are jerks. So I'm just a product of my top 5, Patrick. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Well, that's true. That is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You did become a product of your top 5. And if all the people in your top 5 are jerks, chances are that's why you're a jerk. And if you want to change that, you need to start talking about changing the people in your top 5 influencers in your life, right? Can you be a jerk and get your way? Absolutely. Absolutely. How many of you know a jerk that throws their weight around? They sometimes your jerk is your boss. Sometimes your jerk is your spouse. Sometimes it's one of your children. Sometimes it's just a friend or a person who happens to be in your life. And they throw their weight around. They use manipulation, which is witchcraft. And we can talk about that more later if you would like. Manipulation is the spirit of witchcraft. We've talked about narcissism a couple of weeks ago, and that's another one. It's a high spirit of pride. So when you have these things alive and operating in your life, you really are operating in some spirits that are not healthy for you. So can you be a jerk and get your way? Yes, but at what cost? When you have to throw your weight around or you have to be a jerk to get someone in a relationship with you, business or personal, to do things your way or to decide to follow your direction or to agree with your decision, was that really a decision of agreement or was that simply because you were a jerk? Pause for effect. Gives us time to look inside ourselves, to search our heart and our mind a little bit, right? The nice people always finish last. I don't believe so. But if you are one of those people that are nice guys, nice ladies, let's talk about the end of your life as opposed to the beginning or the middle. I've been to a couple of funerals lately. I've experienced a couple in my own life in the last couple of years, my own family, and then those recently of friends. And it's always interesting to me how people are remembered at their funeral. And some people might say, oh, she was a kind lady, or she was a nice lady, grandmas, memas, nanas, and papas. They were nice. Maybe they were a highly respected businessman, and you go to the funeral, and the funeral or the church, the funeral home or the church are just packed out wall to wall, standing room only. And the people in there have nothing but great things to say about that person. That is the mark, the effect of a person who exudes kindness leaves in the world. There will be some people that pass away sometimes at an early age because of the anger, the stress, the dishonesty, the type of lifestyle that they lived. A lot of times life takes you out early through a stroke, a heart attack, an angry ex-business associate. But a lot of these people, they may have a lot of relatives and they may have a few people that show up at their funeral, but it's a whole lot harder for the preacher or a family member to get up and stand up and say something nice about that person. It's always pleasant when you go to a funeral and there are so many people that want to get up and say something about how that person affected their life. And when you attend a funeral like that, it always makes me pause and wonder, Did that nice person finish last, or did they finish first? Because I believe that if you finish first, you finish best. And I don't mean first by earliest. The nice people always finish last. Most nice people live a long, happy life because they chose kindness. They chose happiness. They chose to have kindness in their relationships. I've been called a nice guy, and the word that's been used to describe me more often than not is kind. And years ago, I was never, we can go back to the teenage years. I tried to date a lot of girls that were friends in my social circle. And many of them would say, Patrick, I love you like a brother. And I'm like, I've got a couple sisters. I'm not looking for any more sisters. I'm looking for a girlfriend. And I really like you. I admire you too. And they would always come back and say, you're just a nice guy. I love you like a brother. You know what I mean? So, not necessarily beneficial for me to get the girl. But as I got older, I realized that the guys that were jerks that got all the girls during high school usually ended up settling for someone else later on after high school that they ended up marrying. Most of them may have gotten the girl and they got married right after high school to the cheerleader or, whoever it was, the pretty girl. And within a very short time, they were divorced. They may have had a couple of kids. They end up divorced. And you come back and see them later in life and they've been divorced 2 or 3 times because that jerk attitude of theirs, that jerk attitude of the spouse who was unkind, simply would not blend with their life, and they end up divorced. And it's funny when you go back into a family reunion or a high school reunion or a college reunion, and you see who ended up together or who ended up marrying whom, if they married someone from your social circle, and if they didn't, what kind of person they ended up marrying. And I've talked to many friends in the last few years that have been married for money and success and fame and all of the things that jerk that they married could provide them. But at the end of the day, when they're through with the divorce and you talk to them about moving forward and you just ask them, what kind of a person are you interested in? 9 times out of 10, they say, Patrick, I don't really care how handsome they are, how pretty they are, if they'll just treat me right. That's really hit home with me. And if you're listening to the show, either today or in the future, on one of the major podcast platforms where you get all of your podcasts, maybe it's a way for you to stay in relationship. Maybe this is a lesson for you to stay married. When they're talking about the regrets of the failed marriage or the failed business relationship, and they just say, so-and-so never got me, or they never treated me right. And when I finally got enough self-confidence to stand up for myself, I said no more. When I finally got enough self-confidence in myself, I quit working for that boss that was always a jerk for me, always demanding. And I finally had enough. When you start believing enough in yourself, in your own self-worth, in your own kindness and the way you treat others, life will help you remove yourself from bad relationships. Good people will come into your life. When God wants to bless you, he puts a person in your life. When Satan wants to curse you, he puts someone in your life. Take stock of the people that have recently entered your life and judge them for what they are. Is that a person that is bringing blessing and peace and provision in your life, or are they bringing drama and conflict and taking from your life? That's going to tell you a lot about who that person is, right? So while we're on this topic of kindness, many of these people that have left jobs, that have left careers, that have left spouses have told me, I just want to work with someone that's nice for a change. I just want to be married to someone that treats me with kindness. Kindness goes a long way. Kindness Kindness trumps pretty every day. When you meet someone that is both pretty or handsome and kind, winner, winner, chicken dinner all day long. So, in essence, does the nice guy always finish last? In my belief, no. I believe they finish best. And that's what I want for my life. And that is the success I want for you in your life. How do we start acting with kindness? Maybe you are the consummate jerk and you've recognized it today in yourself. And you said, I've tried to be kind and it never got me anywhere. Life is reciprocal. Everything that you sow, you will reap. And the earth doesn't care what you sow into it. Fertile ground will produce whatever is planted in it. If you sow seeds of kindness, they will grow just as good as seeds of anger, bitterness, discord, seeds of jerkiness. There's a word I just made up. The earth doesn't care what you sow into it. It will return whatever you plant in it. So if you sow seeds of anger and discord, you better pray for a crop failure. That would be my prayer. Oh Lord, I sure hope that seed does not grow and bring me back a harvest 10, 60, or 100-fold based on what I've sown. But if that is the case, you can simply start changing the way you speak. Let's talk about that. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. One of the translations of the Bible. So what you think about in your heart, the way you actually are, the thoughts that you think enter into your spirit man. And it says, so is he. So you are. That you are what you think. All of the business books in the past, we've said this multiple times, all of the business principles for success in life all root back to the greatest book ever written, and that's the Holy Bible. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your thoughts and emotions are sown into, your thoughts go into your spirit man and they control your words. So the mouth speaks. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it's very important to get your mouth right. So if you want to start changing your attitude and your spirit, you first need to start thinking kind thoughts, thoughts of how to bless others. The Bible also says that a soft answer turns away wrath. So when people come to you with talk of fighting, argument, war, you turn those thoughts around, you think new thoughts, and you think about how to come back with a softer answer, an answer that is both kind but firm and gets your point across. And you can change the way you speak. And when you change the way you speak with words of kindness, consideration, courtesy, which is a lost art in America today, you start developing better relationships in your business, in your family, in your marriage. You turn away the harsh answer, the harsh comment, the angry comment, the talk about fighting, and you turn it back into a soft answer, which shows kindness to the other person. Kindness has been used to tame wild beasts, wild animals. I see so many videos and stories and documentaries about stray dogs and stray cats and stray animals that have been injured, that have been abandoned, and they're so angry because they're so hurt. And once that animal has been taken in, many times by force, and the kind person forced their kindness and their care on that animal, they cut off the matted hair, they cleaned the gunky eyes, they put nutrition and cleanness, they bathe them, they wrap them in nice soft blankets, and they put them in a warm cage, a warm box. They start giving them a nice home, and they treat that animal with kindness. 90% of the time that animal turns around and it becomes kind, it becomes receptive to that kind of treatment. How much more so should we not be doing the same thing to our fellow man, our fellow brother, our fellow sister? When they're hurt, when they've been cast out, when they're acting like a jerk out of angeriness or abandonment, shouldn't we turn around and offer that person kindness and care and try to help that person become a better person? Maybe in the beginning it's with feeding them. It's with handing the guy on the street corner a couple of bucks to get a meal. You know what I mean? Because you have sown a seed into that person. Whether that person does something wrong with it is on them. Your act of kindness is on you. And that's what God sees. But whether it's the person on the street corner or it's a person on your team, when do you act to them? When do you act towards them with kindness? Because that's what truly matters. What if it's a person that you employ and they're bitter and angry? Maybe you need to talk to that person and show them some kindness. Find out what's going on in their life and find a way to help them. Maybe it's your employer. Man, maybe it's your employer and you need to treat them with a little kindness, even when they're being a jerk to you to get their way. Maybe that's the management style that they were trained in. And sometimes you can have a talk privately with that manager and simply say, they may have told you that you have to be mean and harsh to get things across and to get people to rally behind you. But man, I would sure respect you a whole lot more. And I would take the shirt off my back and give it to you. I would work overtime if you would just ask me in a kind way. We're not mean people here. We want to succeed in our job. But every time you come in with an angry demand or telling us we're going to do this or else it's your way or the highway, we're demotivated. Maybe that's something you need to act on. So if you want to start acting with kindness, the first thing I would tell you to do is learn to think before you speak. Because a kind answer does turn away wrath. So if you always spout off before you think about what you're going to say, if every time someone is speaking, you're not listening, you're just thinking about what you're going to say next, you're not actively listening to that person. That is not open communication. So if you want to be kind, to learn how to be more kind, just learn to think before you speak and think about the other person's point of view for just a second. It doesn't have to be a long time. You don't have to look like you're socially inept or you don't know what you're talking about, but pause for a second. There have been numerous times in conversations with past employees that worked for me, and I would be in a meeting or corrective meeting with that person, and they would spout off and they would say something out of anger, and I would pause and I would just look at them, and they would say, "Aren't you going to say anything?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to say something, but I'm thinking about what I want to say before I say it. Because if I speak off the cuff, or if I just respond in like manner to the way you just spoke to me, I'm probably going to say something that's not productive. So I would rather think about the right answer to what you just said to me." And that always makes them pause and go, "Oh, Lord, did I just act that way?" Yes, you did. So learn to think before you speak. And then the next thing I would like for you to do is take steps every day that bring you closer to your peace. If you want to have peace in life, number one, you need to act with kindness, because when you sow kindness into the world returns you a huge harvest of kindness. That's the law of reciprocity. When people in your life are acting kind towards you, you're living a peaceful life. When your spouse is kind and you are kind back to each other, that's a relationship of peace. When you treat your children with kindness and they return that kindness back to you, there is peace. When you treat your employees with kindness and they learn how to work hard out of respect for you and the dollar you're paying them in a wage, that brings peace. So number one, learn to think before you speak. Think about what you want to say. Are my words going to be kind? You can be kind and forceful at the same time. You can be kind and get your what's the best way to say it? You can be kind and get your point across as to the speed and accuracy with which you need your employees to move forward. You can still do that with kindness. One of the best ways I have found to communicate that with kindness is simply in being more descriptive as to the why of what you need done. In an emergency situation, in a time of war, in the military, there are simply times that you need to trust who your leader is. Follow the leader. When they say something is important, take it for granted that yes, it's important, and just do what they say. But even then, that can be when the person knows why they are doing what they're doing, it's much more easy for them to accept it and move forward with kindness. Take steps every day that bring you closer to your peace. Sow more seeds of kindness into the world and see if that doesn't help you live a more peaceful life. Some people are drawn to drama. I'm not one of them. I don't know if you are. And maybe you think that living a drama-filled life keeps you on your toes, keeps you more active, it keeps you more motivated. If that's you, learn to do that same thing. Be motivated, be active, be quick thinking, but still be kind to other people. Some of the most successful people in the world with the biggest attendance at their funerals are kind people. I hope you become more kind today. This has been Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation Live. I hope this has helped you. If this has helped you, share the show, like, love, and share this. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and share this as well. That helps me grow in the ranks on YouTube as well. On Facebook, share this with your friends and family, and then go to any major podcast platform and you can listen to all the episodes of Midweek Motivation Live. We have over 100 episodes on there, over a wide range of topics that will bless you or your work environment, your team, your family, and your friends. Until the next time, this has been Patrick Lee saying thank you so much for watching the show. I appreciate it. I'll be back next week.